Shironeko VR Project from mobile game developers COLOPL. I do apologise, my Japanese pronunciation isn't great. It is the company's first attempt at porting their widely popular RPG into virtual reality, and we have to say that we are impressed. You start off at the level select area, which is a flying island where you can choose what area to play as long as you've previously completed it. When you first begin your game, you are alone, but you unlock battle companions as you clear each level. Each character has a different skill set, where some are great at close combat, some have long range attacks, and others have healing powers. All the characters are rendered in a Japanese anime style, which looks great in the Rift, and all the animation for each character and their battle moves are done extremely well and gives each character a personality of their own. Normally, as you play through each level, you will have one battle companion that follows your lead, and they do help you in your quest, as their AI is pretty solid and they do take out quite a lot of enemies for you as you progress. Occasionally, you may need to use a healing power to top up your friend's health, but for the most part, you can simply concentrate on your own battle and surviving the onslaught of enemies that are thrown at you. There are a wide range of enemies scattered throughout the stages, and you do need to focus your attention on how best to defeat them, as simply button mashing your way through a level will only get you so far before you start to take serious damage. Most of the enemies are based on animals like the spinning platypuses, stinging wasps and the sword-wielding foxes, but you will also see some unusual enemies like the water monsters that turn into liquid form, slide towards your location, rematerialising and attacking with razor-sharp claws. None of the enemies are difficult to beat by themselves, but when you are being attacked by 3 or 4 different types all at the same time, things can get tricky, and in later levels you will have to strategise what characters to use against particular enemies, as characters with fire powers do little against water-based enemies. Speaking of powers, each of your characters has 2 special attacks unique to them. Special attacks are usually a wide attack to take damage from everything surrounding you, and a focused special attack that will take a large amount of damage from any enemies that are within your line of sight. Some of your characters have a secondary healing power, where they will heal you and your battle companion, which is very useful, especially when you get to those difficult boss battles. You can change your character during the battle by simply looking up towards the sky, and a selection screen will appear. This allows you to change to a character with more health or a better skill set to handle the situation you are currently facing. The highlight of each stage is, of course, the boss battle. Each boss normally towers in size compared to your characters, and in later stages they do pose a real threat, as you will normally die a couple of times before you find out their unique attack patterns to be able to defeat them. When you do defeat a particularly difficult boss, you do certainly feel a real sense of accomplishment, and this spurs you on to find out what the next boss is like, which is the mark of a great game. Although Shironeko's gameplay is enjoyable, the game itself is not without its issues, the first of which is the default control scheme, which is terrible. The developers normally design games for mobile, and they have tried to bring across their touchscreen controls, which flat out doesn't work. They have an app which can be downloaded from the Play Store, which allows your Android phone to be used as the controller. Although the install and the connection works flawlessly, using it as a controller is clunky and unresponsive. Your character follows the direction of your finger and will attack when you tap the screen, but more often than not, your character is attacking empty space, and when you want to deploy a special attack, you end up moving instead of unleashing your fury. We recommend you use an Xbox controller to play, but again, you will need to go in and change the default settings and map your buttons to attacks, as by default, the only thing mapped on the controller is the direction of your character. The second issue is the camera issue. Most of the time it's perfectly fine, but you will find that sometimes your view is blocked by a wall or a tree and you will have to fight blind. Also, during boss battles, if the boss is in the foreground and you are in the background, the camera remains locked on you and you will have no idea where the boss is located until you get close to them, and by then they will have attacked you, which can be quite annoying as often sometimes they stun you first and repeatedly attack you while stunned, which can have a drastic effect on your health meter. Another issue is with level design. I did discover early on that quite a lot of the time I can simply run around the enemies and progress to the next area without the need to battle them. You can pretty much skip about 50% of each stage doing this, as rarely are you blocked by a wall that requires you to clear the screen of enemies. Although the developers are better known for social games on mobile, Shironeko's VR project has no hidden paywalls or annoying pop-up advertising. In fact, the game is completely free to download, which is surprising as it's quite a polished experience, and I've certainly paid money for VR games of lesser quality and content in the past. Overall, we really enjoyed this game despite its minor bugs, and would certainly recommend this, especially at its current asking price of free. Remember, if you enjoyed this review or any of our previous videos, please remember to hit that subscribe button for more news, reviews and features.